Hey friends, back in the kitchen and running with the theme at the moment of no waste, low cost, and I'm going to show you something today that I'm sure you'll agree is just brilliant when you want to just harness those scraps that usually get tossed out, that you can turn them into food, turn them into something edible. And here we go with something none other than the humble banana peel. How many banana peels do you think you've thrown out in your life? Well, we don't buy bananas a lot, but we do enjoy a banana occasionally, and I love when they do turn brown. We throw, of course, bananas in the freezer that can be used for smoothies and banana cake. But here's one for you to consider: throwing your peels in a Ziploc bag and keeping them until you've got enough of them. This is a cake that's found in Sarah Wilson's. See that there? Simplicious Flow. And it's a brilliant one, using your 4 banana peels as the flavour, and it's called Bake a TV Worthy Banana Peel Cake. So this one is really a fun and surprising recipe. So I've just preheated the oven to 190 degrees, fan forced, and you can grease a tin. I've chosen to do mine in muffin tray today so that they are portion sized and ready to go. And we're going to just add the peels of 4 bananas. Alright, so I've got 2 previously frozen, one I ate yesterday, just by removing the ends. And you can keep your banana for another cake. And look, you could combine, so you might want to use a full banana and a couple of peels. That I'm sure is fine. I've got some usage for that for later, so I'll put that aside. So I'm just going to chop those in half. You just want to take away the bulk, take off the ends. And I've rinsed those bananas too, so it's not a bad idea when they come in just to give them a rinse. They're a bit sloshy, of course, after being frozen. But there's goodness in those peels. This is turning food scraps into food. So just wanting to use half a cup of water, and we're going to blend this up to turn this just into a puree. Just speed 10 for about 5 Okay, we're going to add now some vanilla, butter, egg yolks. Now the trick with this one is using up, separating the eggs and making the egg whites. So this is what's going to end up giving a nice light and fluffy ending. So there's our blended banana peel. I can smell it. It smells like banana. Quite surprising. So now I want a half a cup of coconut flakes, and I should have chopped these down first and desiccated them, but I forgot. So this is the beauty of the Thermomix, just adding them to the mix. This is how I cook. Half a cup of those. I'm going to add some vanilla, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. We're going to add some butter, 80 grams of butter. Just bring up your... How many times do I do this with wet hands? Just soften, room temperature. 80 grams, we want to add our egg yolks. So there's 4 egg yolks to that. And then you want your sweetener of choice. So you can use a 1/2 cup of rice malt syrup, honey, maple syrup, or you may even want to try your coconut sugar here. Doesn't matter. You can take your pick. Stevia powder. So 1/2 cup. All in together, girls. Just going to process that for around about 30 seconds. You do have to look past the colour of this one. Okay, just bring it down. Right, I'm going to add a tablespoon baking powder. Okay, it's using tablespoon and a half-ish. It's using plain flour, so you can use 2 cups of plain flour. It's 2.5 cups actually. I've got some wholemeal spelt flour, so it's a little bit more substance. And I'm going to add in, put those aside, teaspoon or 2 of cinnamon. Don't think you can be too generous with your cinnamon. Okay, we've got baking powder, cinnamon, and we can add a 1/2 cup of walnuts to that, optional if you want to have that little bit of a crunch. Now we can just blend this, otherwise I suggest that using your Thermomix, we're going to go over to the turbo, which is just a pulse. And we're just going to give it a couple of pulses. Oh dear. Got to give you something to laugh at. Can't be too perfect, can we? Alright, so that's got the flour through it. It's got those egg yolks. So now what it's missing is the egg whites. So I'll scrape that down and I'm going to pop that aside for a minute. We're going to get the second bowl, which is always great to have your second bowl. You don't need to put that in a bowl and wash. We can just go straight into the next recipe, the next section of the recipe. Just make sure that your butterfly is clean. Mine's been through the dishwasher. It's got a grain or 2 of rice, which was just from our risotto the other night. So pop in butterfly and your 4 egg whites going in. Right, we just want to give this a good whisk. Probably speed 4 is your maximum. And look, sometimes I even add a bit of temperature to it, just so that we can get rid of this. It's not going to let me do it. But if you wanted to put it up to 45 degrees, it would just warm the egg, and it sort of pasteurises as it whips it, whisks it up. Right, definitely got something sticky. That's my biggest boo-hoo. I'm splashing around because I don't wipe my screen often enough. Alright, so basically once we've got our egg whites whipped, we're going to fold them into this mixture that we have here. And then I'm going to just spoon it in. You can see by this recipe, you can turn that into a lovely banana cake with a beautiful icing. It's just 250 grams of cream cheese with some rice malt syrup, vanilla extract, and a bit of butter. So nice icing. And a bit of a fun cake, something to talk about. No bananas were needed in this process, just the peels. And it's really quite surprising at how filling this is. You just need one little slice. It can make a standard loaf tin as well. You can put it into more of a loaf, banana bread loaf. And as I say, I'm choosing to do it in muffins today, so come out in individual muffins. Let's take a look at this. It's looking pretty good. It's only been 2 minutes so far. We want to really get that air in there, make it light and fluffy. Usually go for around 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes. Might just stop and scrape down the sides. Don't do it just yet. A couple of cakes using this method, which separates the eggs and just makes the egg whites light and fluffy and gives you a fluffier finish, not so dense as to just adding your eggs through the whole mix. I don't know if anyone's made the cloud bread, but you can just Google that, keto cloud bread, and it's just taking the eggs and separating them, doing a similar thing. There's your dense mix. It's not so dense, it's quite surprisingly low. Alright, nearly 5 minutes. I think with the pavlova, when you're really wanting it glossy, you'd go on for a lot longer. But seeing how it's only just been folded through, I think the 5 minutes is enough. Ta-da! There's your meringue making. Light and fluffy. Get as much of that meringue in there as you can. And to do that, I sometimes just like my soft, flexy spatulas. If you haven't already done so, get yourself one of those little soft. Obviously, the spatula on your Thermomix serves a purpose. It also acts as a handle for removing your rice basket. But I find just for getting in the little grooves, one of these is just perfect. Right, got a bit of a mix through. You can hear it doing its foamy thing. Probably a bit of a reaction there with the baking powder as well. So give that a good turn through. Alright, so I haven't done a batch to pull out of the oven to show you, which I sometimes do. This is my first and only batch for the day, so just got to imagine this is how it looks. Ta-da! And it is nice and light and fluffy. Tastes good. So I'm just going to continue spooning that on into the muffin tray. I won't bore you with that, but I'd say save those peels, give that recipe a go. I'm sure it will be a bit of a wow factor as people eat this yummy little muffin cake and would never believe that you were eating banana peels.